Did we just get a glimpse of the new Xbox? You won't believe how much money Game Pass makes. Xbox's most controversial accessory is getting an upgrade. And let me tell you about the best Xbox deal going on right now and one of the worst. Let's discuss. If you want to get your holiday shopping done early this season, check out the links down in my description because I have links to all sorts of stuff, games, consoles, accessories, you name it. Over the past year, Xbox Ready seemingly has blown up overnight. I have been absolutely humbled. Going into the holiday season, the only gift that I want is to get Xbox Ready to 100,000 subscribers. So if you watch my videos, you like my videos, it would mean a lot to me if you hit that subscribe button, set your notifications to all. Thanks again for supporting the channel and enjoy the video. What's up guys, and welcome back to another edition of Xbox Ready. As per usual, I have gathered a number of stories to share with you from around the video game industry to make sure that you are Xbox ready. First up, let's talk about Game Pass. Specifically, I'm talking about one of my favorite games getting the Game Pass bump. I'm referring to Chivalry 2, of course, which was added seemingly out of nowhere on October 4th. It is a medieval combat simulator, and I use the term simulator very loosely here. You can face off in a number of game modes ranging from 1v1s, classic duels, all the way up to big battles of 32 versus 32. They have almost every medieval weapon that you can think of and then some. You can literally pick up a fish and beat someone up with it, pick up a beehive, throw it at them, and they get stung. But I have been having a ton of fun with it. I picked this game up after I beat Elden Ring a couple of months ago, and since it's been added to Game Pass last week, it's seen a huge uptick in new players. News outlets are reporting that up to 500,000 new players have flocked to the game since it was added to Game Pass. And as a fan of the game, that makes me very, very, very happy. This is hugely beneficial for both Xbox and Torn Banner Studios. Torn Banner now has a ton of renewed interest in this game that launched around this time last year, which is super important when we're talking about a multiplayer only, always online game. It also brings in a ton of new players that could potentially spend real money on their in-game currency. Yes, I know that sounds kind of annoying because it's like, oh, everyone has an in-game store. I'm getting tired of it, but it's not everything that you can unlock with real money. You can just play. It takes a little bit longer, but you can play for it. For Xbox, hopefully it attracted a lot of new subscribers to the service, and they've done a pretty decent job of adding content to the game since it's been released. For example, not too long ago, they had the Tenosian update, which added mounted combat and a new faction. Also, the game is crossplay between Xbox, PlayStation, and PC servers, but you can't form parties with people on other platforms. They said that was coming in Q2. It's Q3 of 2022, and it's still nowhere to be found. Hopefully they can keep the momentum going because, like I said, I am a huge fan of this game. It's a ton of fun. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Maybe not a 10 out of 10. That's like IGN scoring, but I really like it. Speaking of the Game Pass bump, we now have an idea of just how much money Game Pass makes for Microsoft, thanks to documents submitted to Brazilian's Cade following their review of the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal. According to the reports, in 2021, Xbox Games and Software Services division brought in a whopping $2.9 billion. I'm talking billion with a B. Apparently, Game Pass represents 18% of Xbox's total yearly revenue and 30% of its games and services revenue. It's important to note that this does not include PC Game Pass. It doesn't include how much profit it is. It's just straight revenue. A couple of other things I found interesting were these numbers compare to other gaming subscription services like Nintendo Online and EA Play. Nintendo Online apparently didn't even crack $1 billion. It was like 932 million, something like that. And EA Play was just under $500 million. At least for now, the Xbox's gamble on Game Pass, Xbox going all in on its subscription services, seems to be paying off. That obviously goes double when you look at the revenue brought in by subscription services and game downloads versus the hardware sales. I feel like as long as they find a way to get you to subscribe to Game Pass and download their games, whether it be on an Xbox or on a PC, wherever, it doesn't matter because that's what they're focused on. Now, I know the big question after seeing these numbers is Game Pass profitable? And I'm not sure we can answer that question just yet. Sure, Game Pass brought in a decent chunk of change, $2.9 billion in 2021, but obviously that doesn't include the other factors like maintaining the Game Pass servers, paying Xbox game studios to develop games to put on Game Pass, paying third-party developers to get their games on Game Pass month to month like Chivalry 2. We probably wouldn't have even known these numbers if this bizarre kind of review of the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal wasn't going on. And hey, Microsoft is obviously, multi-trillion-dollar company. I'm sure that they can afford to eat a loss for a little bit. Bottom line, it makes money. At least enough money to continue justifying the investment in it for now. Unlike some of these other companies, Google Stadia, for example, rest in peace. I'm not the best at analyzing data, what it means, interpreting it, or whatever, but it seems like good news so far. Next up, let's talk about Phil Spencer's shelf. Dang, I should at this point just have a running segment on the show focused on this dude's shelf, because every time he does an at-home interview, something crazy comes out of it. News outlets pick up on the smallest things and run with it for like a week. People on the internet suddenly become like forensic detectives, analyzing every small detail on their way to making these like crazy conspiracy theories, depending on what Phil Spencer has on his shelf. A lot of the time, these things lead to nothing. Like that one time Phil Spencer, he had this replica of a sword that was apparently from Elden Ring, and people were saying, oh my gosh, this means that Microsoft is gonna buy From Software, holy crap, and of course that did not happen. But other times it's legit, like back in 2020 in September, Phil Spencer allegedly had an Xbox Series S tucked away behind him while he was doing an interview. And of course at that point, no one had ever seen like a real one in the wild. Well, the latest thing from Phil Spencer's shelf is this mystery device that he had on the very top shelf in this most recent interview that he did. Now, people are convinced that this is Project Keystone, aka the Xbox cloud streaming device that you plug into your TV. It's sort of like a Series S, but there's no games natively on the thing. It's just only cloud. This is something we've known that they've been working on for a while now. A lot of people were thinking it was gonna be similar to, a Google Chromecast or a Roku Fire Stick. But then we got some disappointing news. Xbox came out and said, we were working on Project Keystone, and now we're pivoting in a new direction with the project, which of course means it's delayed. Now, if you look at it, it kind of looks like a Series S. Honestly, it has the same basic shape, same coloring, but there's a controller right next to it, just a regular Xbox controller, that makes this thing look super, super tiny. Either that or the controller is like absolutely massive, an absolute unit. This whole thing got everyone in a tizzy, and I was super excited about it because honestly, I thought it looked cool. That's something that I would definitely buy, put in my living room. But then Xbox came out with a tweet and basically killed all the excitement and all the momentum. They said, hey boss, so what did we tell you about putting old prototypes on your shelf? They basically indirectly confirmed that this was the original Project Keystone before they made that pivot I was talking about. But again, disappointing because I thought it was a cool idea. Maybe have $100 streaming Xbox, bundle it in with a controller, 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate. I feel like that would go a long way, and just providing options to Xbox fans, maybe assuage some people that are upset about exclusive games like Starfield and Redfall. Like, what other company offers you $100 buy-in to play their games? For example, on PS5, it's like, if you want to play God of War Ragnarok, tough luck, you're either going to spend $300 to $400 on a PS4 or $400 to $500 on a PS5. That's the only option. But now my dreams are dashed. If this is the old Keystone, what is the new Keystone? Where is the pivot taking them? I also wonder if this mystery console, this kind of whatever is going on Phil's shelf, if it's connected to this tweet that Jez Corden put out a couple of days ago. He just said, hey, don't buy or don't pre-order the Logitech G Cloud. It basically looks like a Nintendo Switch, but it's just for cloud gaming, and you could play xCloud on it, Xbox Cloud Gaming. I feel like releasing something related to Project Keystone in the holiday season will go a long way in generating Xbox hype, keeping players interested, considering the absence of any first-party games. Next up, let's talk about Xbox's most notorious accessory. And no, I am not talking about the Elite Series 2 controller this time. I'm talking about the Xbox Mini Fridge. Now, for a quick recap, the Xbox Mini Fridge launched last holiday season. It was born out of this weird Twitter battle beef poll situation initiated by Brad Sams. And basically, Xbox came out and said if they win this poll against Skittles, they will make an Xbox Mini Fridge. They ended up winning, and the rest is history. The Xbox mini fridge looks exactly like a Series X. It is to scale, but I say it's notorious because at the time when they released these things, it was like impossible to get one. Scalpers and bots just scooped them all up, and it was just such a weird time in gaming. I can't get an Xbox Series X, I can't get a PS5, I can't even get the fridge that looks like the freaking console that I want. Then supply kind of evened out a little bit, people were able to pick them up in store, but then complaints started rolling in. People started to realize, wait a minute, this fridge isn't that great. It's $100 for that thing right there. I don't know how much cooling power that you can buy with $100. And also it's made by a company that's known for video games and operating systems, so I don't know what people were expecting. Well, the mini fridge is back in the news cycle. We are in Xbox mini fridge mania once again because Xbox has released an Xbox mini fridge, which is about half the size of this thing behind me right here. On the inside, it carries about like 4.5 liters, so like a couple of cans of soda, compared to this one, which is on the inside 10 liters. It's also cheaper too. It's supposed to be $80, which pricing wise, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, considering that one is $100, but it was on sale for $55 at Walmart, and of course, it's out of stock right now. You can't get this deal anymore. That's a huge bummer. It's only available in the US right now, but Aaron Greenberg from Xbox has said that they're gonna be rolling it out globally sometime soon. So if you wanna relive the frenzy that was Xbox mini fridge back last holiday season, you could try to pick one up now, except it's gonna be like this big instead of like this big. Last but not least, I wanna talk about a deal that's going on right now that I thought was really interesting, and a deal that I thought was really interesting in a bad way. The interesting good deal is this bundle that comes with 3 months of Xbox Live Gold, as well as some introductory courses for video game development. Now, this is being offered through Mashable.com, and of course you get the 3 months of Xbox Live Gold, which allows you to play games online, you get a couple of free games every month, and you get discounts on some things in the Microsoft Store. But then they're also throwing in these video game courses, which they're valuing at like $1,600, like $1,600. And I know that's probably like a marketing tactic, right? Like these courses usually would cost you like $1 billion, but you can get them for $20. I don't know how good these courses are. My guess is that they're probably gonna teach you some intro video game development knowledge. These courses seem to be geared mostly towards using Unreal Engine, so I can see how that could be kind of useful. Either way, I thought it was an interesting deal because when you look at video game bundles, it's usually not like, oh, you can learn a trade when you buy this game. Next up, let's talk about the interesting deal, but in a bad way. I'm talking about this Razer controller, a limited edition Xbox controller that comes with a charging stand. It's a Razer.com exclusive. It's the Razer wireless controller and quick charging stand for Xbox Razer limited edition. It's $200, and I find that super questionable because at the end of the day, while it is a cool looking controller, it is an interesting looking controller, it's just a regular Series X, Series S controller, which usually go for like anywhere right now from $45 to $60. At the end of the day, it kind of seems like a hustle, like buy this controller and the stand for $200. I know you can probably get it for both of those things separately for less than $100, but you should buy this. You can get an Elite Series controller, whether it's the core or the black one, for about the same price as this thing right now, and it comes with the charging case, and it comes with the paddles and all the adjustable stuff. So I really don't understand what the appeal would be of getting this controller, other than the aesthetics, of course, and it is a limited edition item, so if you're a collector of controllers, that might be interesting to you. I try not to be a hater on this channel. I try to maintain positivity because I feel like that's lacking in the gaming community. I just thought that this was kind of questionable. Anyways, guys, that's all the news I have for today. Thanks so much for tuning in to another edition of Xbox Ready. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter at StayXboxReady. You can reach out to me on Xbox Live. My gamer tag is Lord Janitor.